Hello, everyone. It's Andy Doan and Rhian Driver here. We're going to talk to you about the Succeed strategy and the work we've completed on the curriculum today. You can pause this video at any time or rewind it and replay it if there's any information you'd like to watch again or any information you'd like to listen to. And I'm going to hand over to Rhian, who's going to start with the Succeed strategy.
Okay, so the Succeed strategy was born really out of us considering the work that the children had missed during the lockdown. Whilst the children in both schools had had access to home learning throughout the lockdown period, we know that this is no substitution for being in the classroom. So what Andy and I have done is spent some time looking forward at what the children need to catch up in September, and this is the Succeed strategy. So the first thing you'll see is our super learning days. What we were really conscious of is actually we cannot fit in all the learning that the children have missed in a year and a half of school into one term. So we've taken each topic, we've looked at what the children have missed and how they're going to catch these up, and we're going to deliver that as a super learning day. So for example, you'll see the children in year 3 missed the topic, why do we love to be beside the seaside? So this term they'll have a super learning day where they can revisit those things. That's the same in history, geography, and in science. Moving down, what we've done is we were aware that for teachers in class, it was quite overwhelming to look at what the children needed to catch up and how they were going to fit this in. So Andy and I took on the roles as though we were the class teachers and looked at how logistically these things could fit in. So we've created a bit of a timetable, you'll see in week 1 of the sorts of things the children would need to cover in class. So you'll see in the first week, it was mainly a focus on settling in, PSHE and mental health, and then it was building up into basic skills, handwriting and phonics. That progresses through each week, and you'll notice that as the weeks go on, some things are repeated and some things are added in. So for example, in week 3, this week, computing begins and e-safety. As we go down the weeks, the children are carrying on with all their English work, their guided reading, their maths, as has been introduced earlier in the timetable, and then you'll see that in week 5 we've got the first of our super learning days, which I spoke about earlier. That takes us all the way down to half term.
I'm now going to talk about English and maths and how we're going to support children to catch up and succeed in these subjects. The topics are shifted from Autumn 1 to Autumn 2 for English, so every single class can start a Read, Write, Perform unit. The beauty of the Read, Write, Perform units are that they structure the learning really clear for the children and the teachers and have real onus on that reading and phonics. So we've given each class a unit to complete from week 2. For each of the subjects, we've created a grid for staff, and this has been delivered to all staff one-to-one and also as a staff meeting for support staff as well. We have a Believe, Achieve, Succeed section, which is key notes from the subject leader and from myself and Rhian to support teachers in the catch-up. We have key resources that they can refer to. We've got all of these on the school drive, and also the book expectations as well for each subject. One of the things we had to do for English is to look at some of the skills that were missed from the previous year. So we put these into a grid for staff and ask them to plan this in Autumn 1 so these skills can be revisited. So for instance, in Year 6, relative clause modal verbs were a Year 5 skill. So the Year 6s will have done this term. Alongside that, we've also put the different sentence types that they missed from the previous year. So these sentence types and skills can be taught discreetly to support the children to complete the at year level work. In maths, we did a similar thing, but we had a bit of help from White Rose, which is one of the schemes that we follow, as they gave a lesson by lesson overview. And I'll just pull this up just to quickly show you. In this lesson by lesson overview, they also have a recap section from the previous year. So this is a Year 3 example, and you can see on Monday and Tuesday in September, they did some Year 2 work to recap from there. The DfE also released a new document, a maths guidance document for each year group, and this had ready to progress criteria for the pupils, so the teachers can use this to improve their subject knowledge. With each ready to progress criteria, there's also some example question types as well that the teachers can use within their teaching. So it's a really key document, and Lee and Laura have done training for the staff on this as well. We're now going to move on to the curriculum side and some of the work that we've done on that. So I'm going to hand back over to Rhian.
Okay, so the curriculum work in terms of our Super Learning Days actually links into some wider curriculum work that Andy and I have been doing and were doing last year. So you will remember that the curriculum was one area of the school improvement plan last year. And obviously school was closed to the majority of pupils from March. However, that work did continue. So I'm going to talk about the changes that have been made to the curriculum, and you'll see how they link to the Super Learning Days that I talked about earlier. So earlier in the year, you'll remember what we did was meet with subject coordinators who were really auditing their subject, looking at the progression in their subject, and developing clearer long-term overviews and plans for the staff to follow. Okay. As a result of that, they submitted those plans and the work that they'd done, and Angie and I looked at those and have sort of developed those even further. What we'd discovered really is that for a very long time now, we've had really detailed guidance and structure in progression, particularly in maths and English, but we were lacking that detail and clarity in some of the other subjects. So now we're in a position where all of our subjects have the same in-depth plans, progression documents to support teachers. Okay, it's tricky in a primary school, and I know you'll appreciate when we're teaching all the subjects. And all the teachers have to be experts in all of the subjects. So the work that we've done will help them with this. So from the plans that the teachers submitted, what Andy and I have done is taken each strand of a subject, and we're going to look at art first of all, and looked at the progression in these areas. So here you'll see an example of an art knowledge and skills progression. So within each area of art, so this is the progression in drawing, you'll see how pencil develops through each year group. We've got items like shape and form and how that looks from year 1 to year 6, moving down to shape and texture. So this document now provides a really clear go-to point for teachers who maybe are less confident in teaching art, or they're new to a year group and they maybe know what they're teaching in their year group, but there might be children who don't have those skills and they need to backtrack. So very much like we've always had the maths documents and the English documents to go back to the learning that was before, we now have this in all the subjects. One of the other things that we've added, you'll see here, is knowledge about key artists. Okay, and this is a theme sort of throughout the other curriculum areas as well. What we were really conscious of is developing the cultural capital and the appreciation of the wider world with our children, okay? And what we wanted them to know really, actually, is that Monet is an artist and not a footballer, which many of the children may think. So as part of their subjects, they will study an artist each year and learn key basic facts about that to develop their cultural appreciation and understanding, okay? In addition to that, what we've got is a knowledge organizer. So for every subject, there will be a knowledge organizer that accompanies the progression document. So here, for example, is the painting knowledge organizer for year 4. And this shows the children and the teacher everything that will be learnt and should be known by the end of that unit of work. Okay, so here you'll see it's got a section on painting. There is an artist study at the bottom. Okay, and we've tried really hard to make purposeful either local links or culturally diverse links and really open the children's minds up to various things. You'll see in one of the DT sections later that we've used a male textile artist from Manchester to create that diversity. You'll know from our previous work, a big focus was on vocabulary. So all the knowledge organisers contain vocabulary, and that will be the clear expectation of the vocab children should know in that unit of work, okay? And that can be checked by the teacher and by coordinators and by leaders in school. The other thing that really ties this all together is each knowledge organiser is colour coordinated and matches, this is Andy's work here, the subject book. So this one, for example, it's black because the sketchbooks are black. So everything has really been tightly knitted together and no little gaps left at all. So, yeah, moving on to history. Same sort of idea, but obviously history has a lot more knowledge to it as opposed to skills. So you'll see the purple banding here because our history books are purple. We've got the key vocabulary down the side. We've got the sticky knowledge. So those are the key facts and the key pieces of information we want our children to take away from this unit of work, okay? Then, slightly different with the history than the art is we've got this big idea, okay? So what this focuses on is if you were to ask the children, right, what big idea have you taken away from the Romans? They would know it's about the spreading the knowledge and the goods through their empire, okay? They make the connections with that through the themes that they study as well. So just below the big idea, you'll see various themes that are studied throughout history. So we've got democracy, technology, empire, and invasion. And what you'll see if you look really closely is that, for example, where it says democracy, those are all the units of work where children will have visited this theme before. So, for example, this will help staff make links to the children of, do you remember when you studied the Queen in year one? Well, what you thought about was this. Now we're in year 4 and we're thinking about the Romans. We're still going to be thinking about democracy, but we're going to be thinking about it in this way. So all those links are really clear for staff. What we've also got along the bottom is a key event chronology, because we all know how important that is in history, and what that matches up to is our history timelines, which are on the walls in both schools. Okay, so we're really developing that skill within the children. To accompany that, we also have a progression document for history, which is just as the art one was. It's detailing the key information, okay, and it also tracks through the vocabulary from each unit of work, so we can see that progression. So it's a really clear document for teachers. You'll see there, invasion is highlighted in the different places it comes up. So staff are really clear in history, just as they are in maths, if a child has a gap in knowledge, how they can go back and revisit that knowledge. The knowledge organisers will be a great way on our super learning days to revisit that knowledge that the children have missed. As I mentioned before, we're aware that the children cannot catch up a whole topic of work. We just don't have the time to do that. So on our super learning days of the missed learning, children will focus solely on the information that is on the knowledge organiser. These are going to be a real focus for us this year, and as we review the homework policy, we're going to embed this into that really clearly.
DT one?
Yeah. Now, when we looked at our DT work, we spent a lot of time on this, and we now, Andy and I, know a lot more about design technology than we knew before. When we reviewed some of the units of work last year, what we concluded really is actually some of them were not design technology lessons in the sense that they should be. What they were nice pieces of topic work that had some craft in them, for example. So we've really focused a lot on this, and we've stripped back now that each DT unit is taught as it should, with a real focus on the purpose of a product, the market research behind a product, and the developing the ideas and the design phase. So probably from all our units of work that we've developed, it's our DT that's going to look the most different this year. And we do have staff CPD later in this half term to support staff with the development of this. But you'll see from our knowledge organisers in DT, we've got really clear images and guides for not only the children, but the staff. Along with these, there is a staff handbook really for each unit of work, which guides the staff in the prerequisite knowledge in design technology and how to deliver the lessons. We are a member of the DT Association, and they have lots of online resources as well to support the staff. So this is probably the biggest change this year in the overhaul of the units of work. But we're excited to see how that develops throughout the year. Geography follows very much a similar format with the knowledge organisers and the progression documents. They're going to really help the staff, I think, to hone in those knowledge and skills with the children. What we're going to do as part of our new teaching and learning policy and our implementation of the curriculum is look at how these things can fit in to things like our super learning days, big ideas, and LBQ. So I don't know if Andy, you want to mention a bit about LBQ?
So to support the children to retain that knowledge, we are going to implement knowledge mornings or knowledge days throughout the year, where children will use LBQ quizzes and also short presentations within class to revise knowledge from their previous units. They'll do that in science, geography, history, art, and DT. And those quizzes have been created using the knowledge organisers, so that information will stay within their brains, hopefully, throughout the year.
I think it'd be fair to say Andy and I are really excited about the curriculum moving forward this year. There's obviously some challenges with the catch-up and that the children are facing, but we feel that teachers are in a better place than they've ever been before with the curriculum to really drive that learning forward in all the subjects, as well as the maths and English. And we've really focused a lot on developing their cultural appreciation and their understanding. One of the things that we've done at Red Lane is we've changed the house teams, which were traditionally based on scientists and named after scientists. We have kept that theme, but we've linked in a broader range of people because it was historically, as they like to say, dead white men who formed those house teams. And now we've got people such as Katherine Johnson, who was responsible for the NASA trajectories in the space project. So we've got a real diverse mix of people now.
And we tried to use local people as well to help the children aspire to be, jobs that are in the local area. I know the Year 6 food unit in DT is a female Michelin star chef who works up at Northcote, just up the M61. So children can make those links, and hopefully, when we're allowed, those people will be able to come in and visit school as well. But like I say, it's always developing that cultural capital, and it's been nice for me and Rhiannon to be able to take a step back and look at the curriculum as a whole, to make those links and to make it more purposeful for our children. Because the more purposeful it is, the more they will remember and the more they will learn, which is really important for us.
So I think that probably takes us towards the end of this little presentation. I'm aware that there's a lot of information there. We've tried to give you a very brief overview. As always, if any governors or trustees want a more further look at this, then we're more than happy to talk through that at another time, because it is a lot to take in one short meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.